How you doing, everybody? Thanks for stopping by and joining us today for another Rollin' Over the Hill on the Lift to Roll channel. And thanks to all of you for being part of the Lift to Roll family. Also, I'd like to take this time to thank our sponsors, mobility professionals and urology professionals. They're a great and helpful group of experts that are very much part of our community and can help you with all your mobility and rehab equipment as well as urological needs. So a big thanks to them for sponsoring Live to Roll. On today's show, we will be talking with Ken Nelson. He is a friend and SCI survivor, and we'll be discussing his journey as he ages with a disability. Please make sure to include your questions, comments, and views in the chat, and don't forget to hit that like button. How you doing, everybody? Hello, my name is Robert Soto. I am a T12 spinal cord injury from a motorcycle racing accident 50 years ago. So let's get started. Bobby, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. Thanks, man. It's a little cooler today, like we were just talking about, and enjoying here. We're in Southern California, all three of us. And my name is Bobby Rohan. I'm a C5-6 quadriplegic from a cycling accident. And we got grandma in the house and Chandler. Welcome, Channel Chandler. Um, and I am excited about our guest today. I've known Ken. I don't know why I feel like I've known you forever, um, and maybe I met you a long time. I know we met. Yeah, it's been a while, but and then Ken and I, we see each other on support groups, and um, I know he's going through something here in the future, and I thought he would make a good guest because he's a man on the town, all over the place. Even though he lives out in the middle of nowhere, and we call it in the middle of nowhere. Not really, but Riverside is out there. You're not, but he's always in Orange County around. But he lives all the way
It's
out.
not as bad as Riverside.
Corona. There you go. Corona. Yeah, it's like the big brother of Riverside, I guess you could say. But Ken Nelson, welcome to the channel.
Thank you. Yeah, Corona is just right over the border of Orange County. So
Yeah.
I grew up in Huntington Beach, and that's probably why our kinship is so strong, because I am an Orange County person myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a C4-5 quad incomplete. I broke my neck at a motorcycle accident out at Beaumont, dirt bike accident, and did my rehab at Loma Linda Hospital. Spent about 4 months there, and it's been 29 years, the last May 20th. So I'm coming up on the big 3-0 next year, and kind of excited. I'm planning a big party with friends and family, and it's going to be exciting. So
Well,
not celebrating by, making a big deal of it. I'm celebrating to thank all my friends and family that have helped me all these 30 years. So
yeah, I think that's why sometimes you're not like, yay, 30 years in a chair, but it's like, yay, for all the people and the support and friends and family that have gone through this journey with you. It's a journey.
But I think it's it's like for me, I didn't really do much celebrating for my last anniversary thing, but it is a sense of accomplishment though that you're a survivor. There's a lot of ups and downs. I get it. It's not laughing all the way through it, but you know if you start hitting 10, 15, 20 years in a chair, that's a lot that say about your character. What you're made of, and I think it's a good sense of accomplishment to survive what we've gone through.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Ken.
Bobby.
Well, I was going to say
it started out rough for me. Okay, it started out rough for me. It's the first 3 years of my injury was real easy to get to the adjustment, because I was married, had my kids. I had 3 kids. The youngest was 3 and the oldest was 9, and we were a family working together. But then it fell apart after about 3 years, and we separated and then eventually divorced. And then I went for a 3-year skid where it was dark, and it was only my kids in my life that made me not want to do something drastic. And so I that's a whole different show. But I really struggled for 3 years until I pulled
Mm-hmm.
out of it. And nobody really knew I was struggling because I was going to school. I was functioning. I was doing the daily stuff, trying to be good spirits for my family and kids. But yeah, when you're alone in the room at the end of the day and your prospects are dim and your ex-wife is moving on and you're not, and it hurts. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's another day. This is a happy show. So
Yeah.
um,
Well, and it's what I was going to say is my urologist. I had a urologist appointment, and I've had him for only now 2 years. But he's starting to get to know me. But he comes into the room, takes a seat, and just like, what's going on? Not like your usual urology appointment, but he, he sat down, and he's just like, I just went through your chart. You had a good UTI last, in December, one for the whole year. You probably can teach me some stuff. So what are you doing? So, you know, he takes it from the veterans that have gone through it and know what life really is behind that other side of the wall. And so he knows that I know my body so well that he's it's more for that day, yearly checkup to sign everything off throughout the year. And, he's just like, problem comes along, you know where to call, you know. And I think that's,
my
he's
doctor's the
looking,
same way.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
my
it's more looking
doctor's
at
the same way.
history. Yeah. Because once they see, like, for myself, 35 years in a chair, just going, yeah,
Yeah,
he'll
yeah.
tell me what.
And plus, they might have other patients that they can kind of just share, not you by name, but kind of share how motivated they see you, or things along that line. That they, because I know my doctor, like you get Ken, and you just said, my doctor's the same way. I came to him. I didn't know much about him. I just had a transfer to him years ago, and he got to know me and understood what I'm all about. And I mean, he's a supporter of me. He supports whatever help he can give me and all that stuff. Other than fighting, I mean, we fight insurance all the time, but he's right there. He's in my corner. So it's nice to kind of have that with a professional like that, especially somebody, a doctor that you're going to need for whatever.
For a while.
How long
Yeah.
have you been with him?
Probably 20 years, maybe now.
Yeah, I've got about 17 with mine.
Yeah.
So, and it gets to
So
where you're having a problem. Like, okay, I need this. This is it. You confirm? Yeah, he confirms. Okay, I'll write it up. We'll get this to the pharmacy or get the lab request or whatever. Um, we know each other very well now.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Let's go down the road of Ken. You had your accident, and you said 3 years later, some of those dark days came, and luckily, after 3 years, you came out of it. What has life been for Ken? In the first 10 years, we heard about that a little bit, but you know, uh, what's your independence like, and how was it those first 10 years?
Well, the first 10 years I was going to school, I was trying to figure out a way to get back to work because I was a printer. Oh no, I'll get off the phone. I'm on a podcast. I'll have to call you later. That was about 6 years of school. I was one of those 6 year students, only got an AA out of it. I was getting all my transfers for a bachelor's, and then I decided to just start working, and I didn't need the rest because it was
No.
video or excuse me, a web design and a lot of other programming type things. So anyway, I managed, and then after about I think it was 2010, I had medical issues and I had to retire basically because I couldn't predictably get in my chair every day and work, and I'd take big gaps of time off. So
Do you
then
mind?
it made it to
Do you
what's that?
mind? Do you mind saying what the medical issues were?
Pressure sores, pressure sores. Early in my early days, I knew nothing about how to manage my pressure sores. and I let one go for almost 2 years. And by the time I dealt with it, it was because I had a different caregiver come in. They said, "You got to look into it." It was almost 4 inches long and 3 inches across, and all the way, as ugly as it sounds, all the way down.
Yeah.
I just kept putting gauze over it and going to school and going to work and thinking it'll go away if I just put pressure,
It,
keep it
it's almost
dry.
like a denial. It's almost a denial.
I had
It's
no
what it is.
Yeah, I had no idea when it was small. I should have laid up, but I was going to classes and I couldn't take the time off. I was too busy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
I
yeah, I
get
dealt
that.
with it, and
They never got
eventually I had to do a
infected.
flap.
You
Oh,
never
it was
got it.
bad.
You got
Yeah,
infected.
I took video of it and brought the video to my doctor because you can't go to the doctor and get on the table and get undressed. It's pretty hard for a quad.
Yeah.
And he saw that he put me in the hospital for 8 days on heavy meds plus the bleeding, and then I spent 4 months at bed and home, and finally it went away. But I had massive scar tissue, and that scar tissue is what I dealt with for another 10 years because it would break down in those areas. And but I got educated eventually. Eventually, I had a flap in 2014, and from that point on, I knew very well when a blemish shows up, you lay up and you don't
Yeah. Oh
try
yeah.
to work through it. And I got a Rojo cushion. I learned my lesson on that one too. That if you're susceptible to pressure sores, that's more or less the best one for it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so then I'm good. So yeah, once I retired, I did a lot of freelance stuff at home and video editing. Took people's home movies, VHS and 8 millimeter or whatever old reel to reel stuff, and I would convert it, and I made some money that way. But I was content in just being Social Security and retired, and I made it work
Yeah.
for me. And just trying to find things to interest me, to find that passion in my life that kept me going one day to the next. And eventually, you know, I was a daily happy person. It was wonderful, and has been wonderful for all these years.
And
So
during those years, you said a new giver came in. So you've had to manage caregivers throughout your injury. Tell us a
I'm
little bit about
fortunate.
how you manage your
Yeah.
caregivers and what has
Well,
changed
I've got
over the years.
yeah, I've got the ability. I can offer free room and board, and I've had boy, the one I've got now I've had for 10 years. One before that I had for 14 years, a woman, and she just, I guess you could say, aged out and wanted to retire herself. And
Yeah.
once she left, she realized it was too early, and she wanted back in, but I'd already moved on. And but yeah, it's been great having a live-in caregiver. But I tell you, um, and Bobby, you brought up something that you said I've got a new procedure going, but there's something that all quads deal with on a daily basis, eating something that will possibly affect our bowels, or
Yeah.
something that you're afraid that you're going to try this one little sample, and 10 minutes later, it's all over.
You're going to have
And
the sample back somewhere you don't want it.
yes, just I've done that where I've been deep 3 hours away by train, did a sample of something, and regretted it 10 minutes later. And I'm 3 hours and two train rides and a bus from home
Yeah.
dealing with all that.
Hey,
So,
hey, I'm a parent.
yeah,
I'm a parent. I still worry about all that stuff. So
yeah, so, you know what it's like. You're afraid to, you go to a fair and there's all this great food there, but what's going to react and what won't, and so for that reason,
Yeah.
and I've been discussing this with Bobby and a few other people that have had it done, I'm going to look at getting a colostomy done, and because I've just I'm I'm tired of those occasional, I should say it got better when I started doing probiotics and a few other things that really cut down those oopses, and
yeah.
but yeah, just I'm just tired of going out. I've got a cruise coming up. I don't want to worry about what I can eat and what I can't eat, and I want to just enjoy myself. And anywhere I go, even if I go out during the day and I want a soda, I don't want to worry about it reacting with me. So, which I don't drink
Yeah.
a lot of soda, but
Yeah.
just an example.
So,
So,
um, so unlike we hear a lot of people having to get caretakers, you've always had the live-ins, and is it
I've
one
been very,
person? You have to hire somebody outsourced when that person is on vacation, or
that's where I've been very fortunate that they haven't gone on vacations, and I don't have a backup because I had a weekend person and the weekday live in, and I would give them the weekend off, but they wanted the
Mhm.
weekend money also. So I've been very
Nice.
blessed in that
Yeah,
area.
it's always nice when you can have that same caregiver throughout the whole week, um, where you don't look at the weekend going,
Yeah,
you know, because they're not used to your routine as easily. And so every weekend, some days it could be, especially if you have somebody that every week they come in. I had the one that it just seemed like she came every other day, and it just her day off, she forgot everything, and then she would come in and she'd be like, "Where do I start?" And it's like, do we have to walk through this again? Okay, first you're going to do this, and then you're going to do that, then you're, you know, and it's annoying when you have to have something like that.
that's when you want to get a checkoff list, put it on the wall. Here's the order. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is comforting knowing that I've got it down. Depending if days where I do a bath, I don't do a shower. I just do a bath in my bed. And it's funny when you're first hurt, you're doing everything the hospital tells you. Everything, you're not skipping anything. And as you go on, you learn to adjust things in your life. Where what used to take 2.5 hours to get up, now if I'm doing just a straight get up, not a bath, just a, teeth shave or whatever, I'm up in 45 minutes to an hour and a rolling. But then if there's a bath involved, it's another 15 minutes for that. Or if things happen overnight and you surprise your caregiver in the morning with something you got to do. But, it is nice having you can predict how long it's going to take because I take trains to go places early in the morning, sometimes at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And so it's nice to have someone that knows the routine and just like you can predict how long it's going to take to get up and go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby, I
And
noticed your dog is having a good time behind you.
what's that?
Your dog is your dog is hilarious
Yeah.
right behind you. Sorry to
Yeah.
distract everybody, but
She's like, it's 3:30 and I'm gonna get fed in a half an hour if you like it or not. But um, she'll bug me for a little bit, and then she'll go bug mom, and then bug me, and then bug her. So
Now,
she,
I got a question. Where do you guys find quality caregivers? I mean, is there you go to particular services? Do you go some website or word of mouth, or what's the best way to find a caregiver?
I've been like Ken. I've only had a few that have stayed around for a long time, and
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
one I have now is a friend of the family. But I had 5 caretakers in the 35 years, so
Oh, that's it,
I've
huh?
been lucky.
yeah.
Yeah.
I went through
How
my
about you,
church for
Ken?
me. Yeah, I went through my church and just blanket asked different organizations, and fortunately, somebody responded, and that was the one 10 years ago. And you know, it's a little rocky here and there, but it works.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
yeah.
And do they, do they prepare your meals and your care
yeah,
in
well,
that?
my food routine is pretty easy. I've got a 12 cubic foot freezer that I stock with frozen stuff from Costco. And so whenever I'm in the mood, I got it all written down. I just pull something frozen out and leave it thaw out earlier in the day so it's ready to go by dinner. But I'm I'm pretty easy to do. I don't cook
Yeah.
really. I'll do certain things. I'll make about 4 helpings of it, and just I live by Tupperware and freezer food. And I go out. There's local places I enjoy around here, and you know it works out. I'm one of the lucky quads. I can feed myself. I just have to have it put in front of me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
So tell
I
us,
recognize
what is your daily life like compare, and when we talk about aging with a disability, was it easier 20 years ago, or is it easier now when it comes to your daily routines?
I think it's easier the older I get in some respect. Like I said, I've learned that I don't need to do a bath every single day. I don't need to do this every day. I can do that every other day. And so I've learned to, cut down. But yeah, my daily, if the weather's nice and I don't have any little freelance job to do or any projects I'm working on, um, and the weather's nice, I like to just jump on a train and go somewhere between San Diego and Long Beach, Santa Monica, wherever, and enjoy whatever fun thing is to go and do. And
Mm-hmm.
it all, I'm not afraid to travel on those areas that are in the news right now. I'm pretty comfortable. And sometimes I go with people, with other friends, or I meet people there, but meet friends, I should say. But yeah, wherever I go, there's a friendly person there to help me with whatever I need if I can't do it alone. And there's an occasional person that looks at me like I'm some creepy freak guy, and no, I'm not going to do anything for you, and then they walk on. But that's rare. That's rare.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And how about your body? What has changed?
Oh
And
man, I don't deal with a lot of pain. I deal with mostly because, well, I've got these splints on my hands. You see my
mm-hmm.
fingers, you're like you, Bobby, but you're a 5 where I'm a 4.
Right.
And 4 is a big difference
Yeah.
in the world
6
of
to 5,
photography.
4 to 5. It all, that one little in the neck area makes a huge difference.
Like I've driven a van long time ago. Went to Rancho and I drove a van. They set it up, but it was so complicated that they just said, you know what? And it was through DOR, the Department of Rehab. They just bought me a passenger vehicle and not one that I could drive because it was too complicated. But I did drive the test vehicle and it was wonderful. I remember being at a stoplight making a left turn, and a lady was coming across to make a left turn hers, and we made eye contact. It was almost like we were flirting with each other with our eyes, and she had no idea I was disabled. And it was so wonderful to be, looked at as normal during
Yeah.
that little moment.
Was
Same
that
as when I went sailing. What?
was that the Scott system you were trying to drive?
Exactly. And it
Yeah.
was really easy, but I need to be on my left hand, not my right, and that's what overcomplicated everything. My right
Yeah.
arm's not strong enough to do that.
Yeah.
But
So
I
explain what the Scott. Explain a little more about what the Scott system
it's
driving
it's
is.
it's different than the push pull. There is a push pull on it, but it's this lever. I put my left arm in, and it would swing left and right for turning, and frontwards and backwards. I think the braking was towards me, and the push was the gas, and it was super old. One of the oldest systems out there, because I did what's called the drive-by-wire, where it's like a joystick, and I drove the van, and they give you a test. This is at Rancho, where they pretend there's a child crossing the street, and you got to stop before you get there. I hit that child every time. The invisible person that would have been there, and they said, he's not driving this. We're not giving him one of these. In the news right away, and we'd get sued. So, yeah, it was just. I bet now I could probably do it a little bit better, but I'm so used to my drivers, friends, family I go with, and then I'd call myself a self-proclaimed expert with
Mhm.
public transportation because I
Yes.
never have trouble going where I want to go. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can.
Somebody donated one of those vans with the Scott system, and it sat on outside my house on the street. And my neighbor tried to move it, because he's like, you got to move it every so often so you don't get it towed. And I'm like, I can't move it. It's because it drives like, if anybody, it's like this. It's just like you're steering like this and braking and gas, all with just kind of like one arm. And then off to the side with your left arm, you have all these big buttons for turning, turn on your lights, your turn lights, um, every little thing, start button. And so you're like, it's like a computer, and you're just, or you're like like a PlayStation game, and you're just like, and my neighbor's like, I'll try it for you, and he gets in it and gets out and he goes, you should have this thing towed away. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding. Nobody's going to be able to drive this.
I saw somebody went from one of the sport groups when I got out of Loma Linda. They did a group up there, and we met at a Shakey's pizza place in Redlands area. And this guy had the strangest disability. His legs worked fine. He was disabled from the chest or the waist up, and but he drove this Scott system. That's what how I knew about it. So when I went to Rancho for my first or second evaluation in 2001, they knew about it, and that's what they set me up with. But yeah, there's no way I was doing the drive-by-wire. That wasn't going to happen. But yeah, and I couldn't do the standard push-pull and then drive the steering wheel. That's probably what you have, Bobby.
Yeah.
On the right arm push-pull and your left arm steers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I used to have the push-pull, but now I have the, the regular push-down, push-forward driving, because it did get easier. But I had that push-pull back in my younger days.
Not familiar with that because I never could do it. I've watched other people do it and I've seen their vehicles. And I got to say, I am jealous because I would love the freedom to get in a car and just go and not wait at a bus stop. But like I said, I do have the public transportation pretty wired. And even when I go off to LA and people are freaking out, aren't you scared? I'm really not. I'm more afraid of anything happening in my chair and leave me stranded than I am worried about people, hurting me. Because I've had the toughest looking gang members. Hey, how can I help you? What do you need? And so I don't know if they're gang members. I'm just saying they're sketchy looking, but they're all really polite to me. And so I don't worry about that too much.
I know you were on our channel about 3 months ago, but tell us a little bit about your adventures. And, so you're all the way out in Corona. And if anybody doesn't know what, LA, it's like, it's what, 100 miles from LA? Maybe not that far.
Maybe 50 miles.
Oh, maybe just that?
50 miles. Yeah, it's not that far. It's 1 hour on train from my place to there. And there's like 4 stops in between. But I can go all the way to San Diego. What's that?
You mean from Corona to LA? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's about an hour. If I were to drive my van, it's about an hour or so. You're looking at 55 miles, somewhere in there. But yeah, but from Corona, I can take transfers, go all the way to Oceanside, and then take the coaster. That takes me to San Diego. I might be doing that tomorrow, but the weather's kind of sketchy right now. I'm not sure it'll be warm enough. But I just love getting out, and it's that FOMO thing we all, the fear of missing out. And since I've been a young child, my family has always been going to see what the new exciting thing going on. And so I've always had that in my blood to be, adventurous. And, I would have been miserable if I couldn't get out and I was stuck at home. But since I do have the ability to more or less take care of myself, not in a protective way, but things happen, I can find somebody to help me get whatever I need. I feel very safe doing it. And, I think it was over April, I just hit 10,000 miles on the chair, and that's since about 2015. So, and
how do you keep track? How do you keep track of your miles?
It's got an odometer on there, and overall, and I can reset. Yeah, I reset the daily trip one, so I know how many miles I can do. Roughly about 14, 15 miles on a charge. So I just keep track of that and make sure I've got enough to get home on. But yeah, I love getting out. I meet people. There's so many things to go and see and do, and museums. You know, this whole space shuttle thing going on at the California Science Center. It's been fun to watch them build that, and also the George Lucas Museum that's going on next door. These are both slated to open in 2025, and when they open, I'll be the one shouting the most about go visit them because they're incredible museums that uh, should be exciting to see. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, whatever's going on, I've had Universal Studios passes, Disneyland. I go all over the place, and just
And we
whatever
see your
my
big
time with
Angel
that.
fan. Big
When
Angels
they're
fan.
playing that, I like going. There's the Diamond Club. The seats for a lot of people that don't know that these are $150 seats
Hey,
normally. Oh,
don't tell too many people about our good deal.
okay. Well,
It's a
No,
secret.
I'm
It's a
those who are in the
secret.
know, those who are in the know where I'm going on that. If you want to know, give me a call. Anyway, but yeah, no, wherever I feel like going, I go with friends or go without friends. The beach train, that it's, I've got an access card which allows me to go on the train for free because of my disability. But you have to just go to access, and it's not that complicated to get. But you have to have a reason to have it. I was working back when I had it originally. Now I don't know if I could get one, but
Why is
it
that?
sure.
Because you take
I don't have.
public transportation so well.
Well, I'm not working now. I was working before, and I had a reason to have it now. I don't know if they give it to you just because I'm not in LA County.
Yeah,
It's a
they'll
LA
still
County.
give it to you, but they'll still give it to you.
Yeah.
Being you meet, you always say it's for a medical need, doctor's appointments. That's how I got mine.
Okay. So that's the LA one,
I got
not
the Orange
not
County
the
one
Orange
that
County.
way.
Yeah, no, the Orange County I have, and I'm grandfathered in because of my Riverside one. But the LA one, that's the one that gives you a lot of perks because you get all the
Well,
metro, subway, trains, buses, everything.
I have a
So.
good friend that works with LA Access that I'll give you his number and he'll get you in.
Well, it's not, you just have to show a reason, and if
Yeah.
I think Bernard and I were talking about that a couple of days ago. That if you live in the area, it's the golden ticket to get around LA. So
Yeah.
you just got to get
Tell
past all the other stuff.
tell us a little bit of how you plan a day like that. So like, you know, let's just take going to, up to Santa Monica you were talking about and give me the
Hmm.
two scenarios because Santa Monica, you can plan to get back early enough. But if you plan like a baseball game for the Angels, sometimes, you know, there could be some extra innings. Do you plan to go at a certain time to make sure you get home on time? So tell us a little bit about how you plan your days for those two types of trips.
Well, the baseball game I don't go unless it's a day game. I won't go on a train because the night game, I don't want to do that. There is a train that goes back and forth on Friday and Saturday to Angel Stadium, but I just go in my van in those days. But as
Okay.
far as a regular, if I want to go to Santa Monica, like I was there yesterday, I went down. I take the train that leaves at 7 o'clock from Corona, gets to LA at 8:10. I take the blue line, which is the platform right next to there. Take the blue line to Little Tokyo, get off there, and I wait for the Expo line, and that takes me all the way to Santa Monica. And then coming back, I do the same thing. And then at Santa Monica, you can go down the boardwalk. It's about 2-3 miles to Venice Beach, and there's all kinds of fun things to see and do there. And then coming back, same thing. And also in Santa Monica, you have it's called the Third Street Promenade, which is an
Yeah.
incredible shopping street for everything. And then on Wednesdays, there's a uh, a farmer's market. They call it one of the biggest in the country. I don't know. I enjoy it. It's like 3 or
Hmm.
4 blocks, and every time I go, there's something new I've never seen before. It's kind of fun. But then I wander around. I know how many miles I can drive because I said I reset my odometer, and then I know time-wise it's going to take me about 1 hour to get back from the Union Station or to the Union Station. And there might be places I want to go along the way. The museums, like I said, I go on the USC campus and watch the football team practice or the baseball team practice or whatever sport they have going on.
Mm-hmm.
You can go down and get off at Pico, go to the Staples Center, Crypto or whatever they're calling it now, and go down Figueroa down to Broadway, and there's all kinds of exciting things to look and smell down there. And you just don't know. It's LA. There's going to be people screaming at each other and or to themselves. So you just got to avoid those people. But there's a building there called the Intercontinental. It's on 7th and Figueroa. It's 70 some odd stories tall, and you can go up to the 70th floor for free. It's their lobby, and you see all of LA and all the way to Catalina on a clear day. It's an amazing view. I've got that on my YouTube site. That's a fun one to look at. But then you just get back to Union Station. There's like 4 trains I can take. I never plan on the last one. I make sure I'm there, and that's my last resort train, so I don't get stranded. And then you just be smart. I know my chair. It's never broke down on me. One little minor flaw, but I trust my machine, and it's a quickie, a van that go or chair that just goes 8.5 miles an hour, and I can pull a lot of weight. If somebody wants to hurt me, I can run them over. I like to say, but I don't know if that'll ever work. But I've never been threatened or even felt threatened in all the years I've gone there.
And when you plan like those, what do you plan for? Obviously you got to pee once in a while. Are you able to do that? And like water, food. I mean, obviously we can all buy food at some place, but
there's plenty of that.
What do you bring for? You have a big bag, I'm sure, of goodies and accessibility.
No, I really don't. I keep 2 granola bars on my bag because I'm hyperglycemic and I'm diabetic. So I got to keep my blood sugar at that right level. I bring a bag of sunflower seeds wherever I go. I'll leave a DNA trail wherever I've been. You can track me if you could figure out which shells are mine. And I've got a water bottle, and I use baclofen for my spasms, and I've got a little pill thing that I've used that I can get it myself. And I used to rely on people, but that's when they're saying, I don't want to help you out, or I'm not going to give you medicine. It could be illegal drugs, especially down at Venice. They get a lot of looks like that. So I've had to learn how to get my own. But then, I don't eat a lot on the road. Like I said, the fear of having food, reactions and stuff. So I'll go to places I know, McDonald's or other places that makes it easy. But as far as my urine goes, I've got a leg bag. I've got a super pube catheter, and it goes in my leg bag. And I've rigged a solenoid on the bottom of my footrest, and I've got a switch that I hit the switch, and it opens the solenoid to drain my bag. So I can drink whatever I want all day long, and I can drain it, and as long as the clip is opened, my caregiver will plug it in, but sometimes not open the clip, and then I'm in trouble because you don't find a perfect stranger to put their hand up my leg and open the clip. That is creep show time. So, so I'm pretty independent with my urine.
Have you ever been stranded somewhere?
Once. I've only had once, and I tell you, God was looking after me because I got to Oceanside. It was a beach train one day, and I pulled away from the train station about a block, and my chair just stopped. And it was a brand new chair to me at that time. It was maybe a couple months old, and it just stopped. And I didn't have a clue what it was. I looked left, I looked right. There was a man walking from this parking lot, and he had a van that said mobility wheelchair repair on the side of his van. And he said, my daughter's disabled, and I work on wheelchairs. And he came over, and another guy came over, just a mechanical. He was mechanical, but not wheelchair. And together, they figured out it was just a wire that disconnected, and I was on
Oh
my way
man.
within 20 minutes.
Yeah, the guardian
So I mean,
angel,
like
that guardian angel was there with you.
I start with my prayers every morning, and I end with them every night,
Yeah.
and everything in between is in His hands. So I've been
What a
very lucky
story.
in that. Yeah,
Well,
Good stuff.
go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say we need to welcome back. He's got the perfect shirt on today. The man, the myth, the legend, back with us. It's been a couple months, but Luis, welcome back, buddy.
Yeah,
How you been, bud?
I'd been away for a little bit and needed to regroup a bit, so
Yeah.
I'm back. It's good to see
Hold your
Ken,
hand out.
and
Let him slap it.
there we go.
So glad you're back, dude. Um, uh, I guess Luis caught us off guard, but you're looking good, Luis. Um, uh, but we're here talking with Ken Nelson, is
Yeah,
getting older. So what's switching back gears? Then you were we talked a little bit about thinking about going to the colostomy because of you like to be away and you don't want those troubles. Um, Tell us about what that process is like because you haven't done it yet, right?
No, I've got an appointment on Tuesday. Actually, I was supposed to go to my doctor. It's a whole strange thing. I told them to find the doctor that's going to do the surgery and refer me to that doctor. Well, they referred me to a GI doctor, and I called to make the appointment. They're like, well, he doesn't do that. You're going to have to call a doctor that does that. I'm like, well, that's what I did. And I had him for a week and a half, go through the process. Well, I got to go to that doctor to find out who he'll refer me to the actual doctor. So it's a
Yeah.
process, and I just got it converted from a roll-in appointment to just we're going to talk on the phone next week, so I don't have to go all the way down there. So at least some things are going in my favor. But yeah, I'm hoping to get it done by before October because I got a little trip coming up I want to have it done for. But yeah, it's that would be. I know it's got its own drawbacks and it's got its own issues, but it can't be worse than like I explained earlier. I was in San Diego a couple years ago, and I was gonna have a whole day, gonna go to San Diego, then take the train to Anaheim Stadium. My brother's gonna meet me there with my car. We're gonna catch a night game. It was just gonna be a wonderful day. I took a sample of a smoked salmon or something at a fish market. 10 minutes later, it was over and I was stuck in San Diego with 2 or 3 train rides and a bus to get home.
yeah,
And there's nothing more embarrassing than being on a train and having somebody on the train go, "Is there a baby in here? Where's the baby at?"
Yeah.
And there's not a single
Yeah.
baby in the car to blame it on. And so you
yeah,
just shut your mouth and hope they don't figure it out. And
yeah,
so, yeah, it's those moments I want to just wipe clean
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not have
Yeah.
again.
And that
It's
was
been
all from just a sample of a salmon.
one single bite of a smoked tuna or smoked. I love that kind of stuff. And so since that day, I've had, oh man, I had so many bad experiences. I need all of your hands, count them on, of in my lifetime of having those embarrassing moments. And I just think of only one or two things in talking to Bobby and Steve Campbell uh, uh, and Bernie Bernard about all the great experiences you've had and wishing you'd done it sooner. So
Now I
Yeah.
know
you
what
probably
I'm
do a
getting
whole
you
show.
for Christmas.
Get me a
Say
what
that
for
again, Louis.
Christmas?
Now I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
There you go. Uh,
Yeah,
I want I want a 50-ounce bag though, so I don't have to worry about it the whole day. I don't know how many ounces they come in. I'm still being educated on that. Bobby and I have been talking about the different things. So
do you
yeah,
have other
I just
foods and drinks that do they have the same effect on you?
I know my triggers. I know my triggers
Yeah.
and but then
Hmm.
but it was about 2 weeks ago I ate I, sounds weird. Corn dogs with mustard. I love mustard on the corn dog. I mean, I would just half a bottle of mustard, if my body would allow. But I think that was one that really set me off this last time. And I had 5 accidents in one night, and my caregiver was just on fumes by the time the end of that day, before I finally had nothing left in my system. And my doctor put me on some antibiotics, thinking it was, something causing it. And I haven't had one since then, but it was that experience that put me over the line of,
Yeah.
I want to do this thing, because it's not fair to my caregivers, and it's a horrible experience for anybody to go through, to clean up another person.
Can your body go through like where mustard never bothered you, and then all of a sudden that one food will just hit you all of a sudden? Is that how your body goes, it seems?
Well, I'm always abusing my body with hot foods. I love jalapenos. I love hot sauce. I love them together, so I'm always testing my body's limits. And so, yeah, that, my bowel program is not like anybody else's. I did it by the book from the hospital's recommendations forever. And then one day I just said, you know what? I'm just going to wait until I feel pressure, have my caregiver do the DNC. And ever since then, man, and with probiotics at the same time, it's been managed so much easier. Once, twice a week doing my checks, and I'm good to go. 10 minutes, my bowel check, my program's done, and I'm on my way again. But that doesn't work, buddy. I can feel it when it's time. My body tells me with AD, and something's up.
Well, until
so I can't say
you're close to me, you should do what Tom does. He'll take his food home before he's going to eat it. So maybe take all those samplers. Like, can you bag this sample up for me?
Yeah, that's right.
I go to Costco, and that's my Disneyland for samples. You all know that, the shop there. And I love, and a lot of the servers know me. Here, Ken, you want another one? Here, you want two? Here, I'm going to put, everybody gets one sample in a little white paper. I get two in one. It's like I love my sample people at Costco. And I go there independently by myself without my car sometimes, because I can Sherpa everything in the back of my chair, whatever I'm bringing home. But yeah, Costco's so fun to go to.
See, that's where the power chair comes in handy, because you're just hitting the controller. I've got my hands on my hand rims, and they ask me if I want samples, and I show them my hands, and they see how dirty they are from the hand rims.
Oh,
and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
I'm the opposite.
I was going to say I'm the opposite, because I stay away from, because from time to time you'll see all these kids that are around, and just too many people at the food area, and I don't know. For me, I'm just maybe so I just don't go even when they're empty, and I'm just like, there was probably somebody around that sneezed or something. So I don't know. I just get kind of nervous. And then Costco's never my fun place. It just never find parking.
Oh yeah. Parking is the worst there.
Yeah.
Well, but that's like I said. I go there on my own on the train or on the bus, and I'm only getting a few items, but I'll go there once a week, sometimes twice, because I need eggs, and I don't want to, I get there for 24 for $4 versus 18 for $6 at the store. So it's like nothing's going on that day. It's an adventure. I'll go say hi to friends, and I'm always buying stuff, their electronics to the food, like I said earlier. So
Yeah.
And these samples, if it's something I like, I'm buying it. I'm putting it in my freezer, or whatever. So
yeah, I'm proud to say that my Costco, the one over here in Ontario, Rancho Cucamonga area, they've actually doubled the number of accessible parking spaces, which is awesome.
Yeah, double the amount for people to abuse the spaces. You have to. People don't need them.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, actually, these days I almost always find a spot. Before that, I almost never found a spot.
Yeah.
Oh, now that they doubled it,
there's usually a spot available.
Yeah, I mean, I know that for, we can, all month long on the Lift to Roll, we can go on and on and on and on about parking. And it's getting pretty bad out there. And actually, my wife just had her, she has a handicap placard in her car in case I'm in there, or her daughter's in there, and it got stolen the other day. So, yeah, it's just, she usually locks it. She's good about locking her car. I'm not. I leave my car open here at the house all night long. I pull up, the ramp comes down, and I just go inside. And, neighbors now know, when I first moved here, they're like, hey, your car's open. I'm like, oh, yeah. But, I'm not worried about somebody stealing it. But what I always should have worried about is somebody stealing my handicap placard. And I'm not one to do the license yet. Like, some people are like, oh, just do the license plate. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I just.
Same here. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't want. Well, I don't want to be a damn handicap driver.
Yeah, well, for me, the thing was because I used to drive a lot from Salt Lake back and forth, and I didn't want to be halfway, across the desert in the middle of nowhere. People see that placard, and I know this is just in my head, seeing and making me like vulnerable. So, or if they're sitting there watching me somewhere, I don't know. I prefer the placard, but that's my thing.
I was the same way for a similar reason. I didn't want to be considered a target, and having a plate would make you a target. But anymore, I don't care. So all my vehicles now all have plates, and I have one placard, and I keep it in my wheelchair bag.
Yeah.
And I almost never use it.
I'll only do it if I can do it the way I had a friend that did it. He got the hurt the same day I did, and when I saw his van, he had the placard, and it had on the way it goes, it has the wheelchair symbol, right? And then he had personalized after that, and it just said, so you see the handicap symbol, and then it said, no way. And I'm just like, that is so cool. Handicap, no way. And I'm just like, if I ever could do it, if I ever go that way, I want to have that plate. Or not me.
The thing I get questioned on the most is, for those of you that don't know, I have a motorcycle, and I have a disabled DP plate on the motorcycle. And most people don't know that such a thing exists. And I get questioned on it all the time. People have no idea that you can get them. And I've got one, and it's great.
You got, what is it? I'm sorry. I was reading the chat.
It's a DP plate on my motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those from time to time.
Yeah. Occasionally you'll see them. And usually it'll be somebody who's either an amputee or an incomplete SCI.
Yeah.
So do you just park it in a handicapped space just with that? Is that what it allows you to do?
Yeah. It's a regular DP plate. But because most people haven't seen them, they question it.
Yeah.
And I've seen where, somebody in their F-Ford 350 jacked up to the highest point it can go.
Exactly. And the guy jumps out and runs into the store.
You're like, really? Okay. But I've seen worse. And like I said, we can go on all month long with all of our channels. Our Tuesday and women's and this. So
can I say one thing? The one reason why I have it, and I got it from the very beginning, because I live in Corona, I get FasTrack for free if it's on my plate.
Yeah.
So I go up and down the 91 FasTrack, I get it free. The only time I pay is going eastbound from 4 to 6 on a weekday during the rush hour.
Yeah.
So,
I can see that.
And it always bugs me. Huh?
Ken, do you still have your van?
Yeah. I just hit 23 years with it, and it's only got 130,000. I can count on one hand the amount of time I've had to repair something on it. So it's been an incredible vehicle for me. But yeah,
That's awesome.
It bugs me when I'm at the beach or I'm somewhere, and I try to leave there either before the 4 o'clock or after the 6 o'clock, because it bugs me to pay half price for FasTrack. And so
Yeah.
if I get there right at 3:59, I'm good. But if I get there at 4:01, I'm paying half price, and that can sometimes be at $7 or $8. It depends on,
Yeah.
For me, it's
It
just
is.
it's a mental thing.
Well,
I don't want to
Ken,
lose.
I think you just talked me into going to my DMV and getting because I take FasTrack a lot, and not during those times that you said. So, because especially when I go down to San Diego, I take this. It's a 73. I
Now
want to
those
check
are
it.
not.
Those
Yeah,
are
those
not.
are not. They
Okay.
might have different rules, but it's only 91 that
Yeah.
I know of.
Okay. I'll
But
check into it because also I
yeah.
want the 110. Whenever I go to LA, I always take FasTrack on the 110, which is I can get to downtown LA pretty quick that way. But you got to pay for the FasTrack. And I'm always going on either the weekend or for a soccer game. Usually I go down the Coliseum for a soccer game. I just wanted to point out real quick, Steve made a great comment about Costco and Sam's Club is flat inside, so it's a great way to get some exercise and push around while the wife is shopping. Yeah, not only Costco that, but the mall is a great place too. We used to have a group of guys. We met up at the mall once a week in the morning before it really opened up, and we just push around. We get a couple miles in.
At Costco, you have those refrigerators too. You can pull in there and really cool
Yeah,
down.
exactly. Produce.
Oh, yeah.
Big produce coolers.
Produce
Okay,
and milk and eggs.
you got me started. I have a Winco nearby. And for those of you that don't know, Winco has a huge walk-in, or in my case, roll-in refrigerated beer cooler. And I spend more time in there. Just you open that door, you roll right in, and oh man, it's great.
That is
Yeah, it's
awesome.
I
like
heard a
40
story about a
degrees.
guy that's like that, and he would go to his local store and they let him go in the refrigerator area, and he would call out all the coupons to all the shoppers. Hey, I'm Newt's and sour cream on sale this week for da 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 da. Buy me. And the owner, the store manager, loved that he would promote products while he was cooling off in the fridge. And
Yeah.
it was a gimmick that they did that for years, he said.
How funny. Well, we're getting to that, or we are at the top of the hour. And Robert, if you can do our sponsors, and then we'll go around the room for our last little word of the week.
Okay. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals. Like I said earlier, they're a great group of professionals that are available to assist you. Mobility Professionals can help you with your wheelchair rehab and everyday equipment needs. Their service here in Southern California. So if you're in the region, check them out. Their sister company, Urology Professionals, can help provide you with all your catheter needs. They provide service nationally. So wherever you're at in the good old US of A and in need of catheters, give them a call. Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals.
Absolutely.
Why does your hat read backwards, Robert? Is your camera reversed or is your hat backwards?
I don't know.
There it goes. Now it's right.
Yeah, it's just the way it's mirrored. You can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Come on, Shawn. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Robert's magical that way.
There it is.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There you go.
He's a switcher.
Yeah.
And don't forget to, as you know, I'm sure all of you guys, our Live to Roll family knows that we're here every week on Tuesday. On Monday, we're going to have Sarah back, hopefully. He's getting well. I talked to him last night, so he's on our Gaming with Hell Wheels on Monday. He's at 5 o'clock. Then don't forget to check us out on Tuesdays, 3:30. Tom was in the chat. Love seeing Tom in the chat. It's been a while, so awesome, Tom. Glad you can join us, especially for all of everybody in the chat. Daryl, Dominic, Steve, Games and Theories, so many. Grandma, I'm probably missing a ton at the roll up, but thank you, everybody. Leon, thank you so much, Velma, coming into the chat. And don't forget to watch Gaming with Tom every Wednesday. I heard he might be on tonight. So, Tom, in the chat, if you want to put, are you on tonight? Because I heard you might have missed last night. So let us know if you're on tonight. He's the man, the myth, the legend.
This is Tom.
And this is next week we have the girls back. Is it the girls? Yeah. We have the Real Girl Talk. We have the girls back talking up a good storm. And then on the first of the month, they had to take a month off because of the 4th of July, rolling with the Golden Oldies. So that's our channel. Ken, and then don't forget us. We're every second and fourth Thursday. This is what, the second Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the second. Okay. Seems like this year's flying by, so who knows? So we'll be back later. We'll be back later this month. Glad to see you back, Luis and Ken. Any last words, advice of your 30-year journey here?
One thing there's a few of the people we talk to Zoom weekly that they're a little agoraphobic, afraid to get out before to go do. I love to get out. I didn't start by going to San Diego or Long Beach. I started by just going to the park with my daughters and taking the kids to the park. My circle eventually got wider and wider as my trust got bigger and bigger. Get out there and enjoy the world, enjoy the local area, wherever you're at. There's so much fun things to do and see, but you got to get that comfort zone to where you're able to get out and go do it. Even if you can't drive like me, there's so many ways to get along or get around. And the public transportation, it sucks sometimes, but it's there if you know how to use it. And the summer's here. Go out and enjoy it. And if you want to call me, or a lot of you know how to get a hold of me, I'll meet you somewhere and I'll show you a good time on the wheels. And life does not have to be boring and depressing. If you get out and enjoy the world, it changes your attitude.
And Ken, what's your YouTube channel?
It's at Ken Nelson Corona, all one word, no spaces. Just get in YouTube and type in at Ken Nelson Corona, and you'll see all my style or my playlists pop up.
Yeah,
I've done a lot of fun things.
What's great is all your travels on the train and navigating all the areas. And there's a great video. If you ever think about getting stuck on a train, how they're going to get you off. And we see how Ken got off the train. Very sketchy, and I'm sure you were nervous, but the fire department got you off.
If you like firefighters, watch my YouTube site, and you'll see a bunch of firefighters coming to my rescue. The women on the train loved it, and you'll enjoy the little twist that I put on the video. So, yeah. A lot of fun stuff. My skydiving videos on there and sailing, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. So
that's the great thing about your videos is you've got no fear going anywhere. And that's awesome. That's why I love watching your videos.
God did to me what he wanted already. I hope he's not going to go any further, but I hope he finished the job and didn't say, wait, I forgot one more thing. So
there's some days you look up and go, what, really?
Yeah, really? Yeah. What? Anything else?
Yeah. I got hit on April Fool's Day by a car 2 years ago. And that was when I thought, this is too ironic. I busted 5 ribs in the process. And the girl had no insurance and she bailed. The cop let her go. But luckily my insurance covered most of it. But yeah, that was the most ironic day I've ever had, was on April Fool's Day, getting hit by a car. But everything eventually was all right. But nothing made my chair 100% no damage. And that was right when the Russian war started. It said it survived better than the Russian tanks. So you got a great wheelchair. So there you go.
Louise, welcome back. Any words of wisdom?
Do like Ken does. Get out there and roll. Go do things, try things. Even if you're not successful at it, especially the first time, you might be the next time. You know, don't be afraid to ask for assistance. You get out there and have a good old time. Ken and I live about 20 miles apart, if that, not even that. And I'm surprised that I'll talk to Ken and he'll say he went to this and he went to that, and it's like, really, you went to that over there? That's awesome. Whether it's an event or to a certain store to go pick something up, it's great. And the more we go out there and do that, the more we feel like we're back in life again. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And don't worry about what you look like, what you think people see. You'll get over that eventually.
Yeah.
Your own vanity is your biggest crutch.
Trust me.
And you got to get over that.
If you think, some days if you're embarrassed about yourself, there's 100 other people around you that are more embarrassing.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, everyone, thanks everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit that like button if you watch this video later, and great to see everyone. Great to see you, Louise. Thanks for coming back and joining Live to Roll again, Ken. And have a great and beautiful weekend. Take care. Live to roll.
Live to roll.
Thanks to all you.